When I was young, my brother and I built a boat with our father. We spent several years sailing and exploring the Patuxent River. And then I met Tony.
Peter and I spent many happy times on that boat, and so when we got married, we built a larger boat and ventured out into the Chesapeake Bay and its many rivers.
We crewed on larger boats with dreams of sailing the world, but then life took another turn.
Today, we look forward to retirement with dreams of leaving it all behind. Come join us on our journey to sail the seas.
Welcome. The last episode we took the Seawind 1260 out for a charter, and I think that was one of the best things we ever did.
I think so too.
It really kind of opened up our eyes on these options. There's so many options with the Seawind that it kind of confuses. It was overwhelming for us. But after spending some time on the 1260, it really gave us a better idea of what we want, maybe what we don't want, and some changes we made.
There's still some things we're considering.
Right. So with a Seawind, it's all about the options. Some of the things with these options, some of the options I can do myself. I can buy some of the stuff, install it myself. If my time was free, if I knew what I was doing, and I could do. I mean, I built multiple boats in my life. But I don't think we're going to do that. I think instead, if we want an option on this boat, we're probably just going to order the option, have Seawind install it, integrate it into the system for us. I don't want to get a expensive boat and immediately on day one start drilling holes into the boat, run wires, trying to integrate it with all the electronics to save a couple bucks in the scheme of things. So we're probably, if we like the options, we're probably just going to have Seawind install it in the factory. The downside of that is every option that you get installed, it's going to increase your sales tax because the price of the boat's going to go up, and it's going to increase your import tax. Now, in the state of Maryland, our sales tax is already capped, so it's not going to affect us on the sales tax today. But the import tax, the more boat it is, the more money you're going to pay for import tax. So that's the downside of having it. Seawind doing it at the factory, they have all the components open, they know the boat, they can integrate it, and these systems can hopefully be part of the warranty that comes with the Seawind, so we don't have to worry about all that. If you want to save money and you're very handy and you don't mind drilling holes and running wires and fishing things through, by all means, go for it, but that's not what we're going to do. And that's just us, nothing you're wrong if people want to install their own options. When we meet other Seawind owners, especially the potential owners at these parties and get-togethers like we did at Annapolis Boat Show, the first thing, we introduce ourselves, hi, we shake hands, and then, what options you getting? What options you getting? It always comes around what options. And if they already have a Seawind, we question them out. Hey, what options would you do different? Which ones would you get? So it's all about options. Options. And it can be daunting. There are options that we know we're getting. There's options that we know we want. There's still options that we're still unsure. And then there's not really options, but customizations that we want to have done on this boat. Now, we're not going to get through all of these during this episode. So let's get started. Here are the options that we know we are getting. If you look at the Seawind's option page, and we'll scroll it through on the video, you start off with the anchoring system or the ground tackle. Now, I can tell you, we are not going to skimp on the ground tackle. I'm not going to lay awake in a 30-knot wind worrying about my anchoring system because I decided to save a couple bucks and not get extra chain, extra rode, or the right anchor. So we're not skimping. We're just going to probably click all the boxes on the anchor. Additional chain? Yes. Ankle bridle for a multi-hull and anchor bridle is a must. We had it on the trimarans. If you don't have the bridle system, the boats will sail around under anchor. You need the bridle system. So that's really not an option. You really need the bridle for a catamaran. The anchor chain counter. Here's my thoughts on the anchor chain counter. I know you can mark the chain after so many intervals. I know you can count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and maybe they're 7 feet out or 10 feet, whatever the send rate is of the anchor. But it sure is nice to know how many feet are going out, or if you have to bring some feet in, or you're not the one dropping the anchor. You happen to be in the bow or something, and you say, "Hey, let out another 10 feet." That's when the chain counter really comes in to let you have it, let you know exactly how much road you have out. Now, this is one of those things. I could get this option for $400. I can drill a bunch of holes, run a bunch of wires, and have this, because you can get this chain counter for $400. For $800, it's installed professionally. It's all integrated. It's wired up. So that's a $400 installation fee. So I think we're probably just going to go with the chain counter. Why not? In a $500,000 plus boat, what is $800? Some of these options you have to ask yourself, in the scheme of things, they're really pittance. So if you're thinking about them, just get them. And the chain counter, I think we're going to get, right?
I trust you on that.
You're the one's going to be letting out the road. So the anchor second system, the 35-pound Delta, yes, we want a second anchoring system. If we get that 35-pound Delta, that's fine. If we decide to switch that anchor out for whatever reason because of where we're going, the bottoms that we expect, that's fine. But you need a second anchor on the boat. The primary anchor upgrade to the 48-pound Sarka, yes, please. I mean, the Sarka, I think, is a great anchor, especially for Chesapeake Bay area, where you have sandy and muddy bottoms. And I just like the Sarka. I saw them at the boat show. I researched it, and I think the Sarka is the anchor for us. On the trimaran, we used an old Danforth, which worked well for us. But a boat this size, I think the Sarka is what we want. The windlass foot switch up front, where you put your toe on, yeah, why not? If you're up front and you need to let a little bit more road out, or a little bit more anchor out, why run back and forth? Get the foot switch up front. The upgrade with the capstan for the windlass, yes. Again, why not? You're dealing with all this. You want to sleep at night, so extra chain, extra weight. Ability to sleep at night, you have to kind of balance it out. And I like to, sleep knowing that I have enough road out, enough the right anchors out and all that. So don't skip on the ground tackle to save a couple of bucks. Tell us which options you think we should be getting, or leave in the comment section what you think we shouldn't be getting. If you think we're plumb crazy, forget some of these options, that's fine. Tell us plumb crazy, but tell us why we're plumb crazy. Now we're going to talk about comfort, and I guess this is where you come in, right? You give a rat's ass about the anchoring system.
No, I care about the anchoring system, but I trust you on that.
Okay, so on to comfort. Are we getting air conditioning?
Yes. And the reason why...
I'm going to get my wine. Go ahead.
Okay, and so the reason why we want air conditioning is not because we're going to use it all the time, but because it'll come in handy sometimes. Most of the time when we're out on the boat, hopefully it'll be nice weather, and we plan to have the windows open and the hatches open and all of that, and the nice air coming through. And it was like that when we did the charter. We didn't need air conditioning. Maybe the first night when we were at the marina. And so that's kind of the thought. If we're at a marina and we're hooked up, maybe we would want to use it. If it's a really hot night, of course, we might be more comfortable. It just would be nice to have it there in case we need it. Not that we're going to use it all the time. And I'd rather have it and never use it, frankly, than wish we had it if we're out, for a long trip and want to be comfortable at night. At night, mostly. During the day, not so much.
The airflow through the 1260 with all the hatches.
It's wonderful.
It's pretty good. So as long as there's a breeze blowing, you probably won't need it.
You don't need it so much.
On those nights where there is no breeze, yes, I agree.
And the fans help too.
We'll get the air conditioning. And they're so energy efficient nowadays that if if you're sailing very hot weather and you're not going to have those trade breezes or whatever, get the air condition. Happy wife, happy life. The child bunk, port forward.
I don't think we need that.
No, I don't.
If the grandchildren come on the boat with us, they'll be in the saloon.
We'll put them up on the Monica Lounge and let them sleep on the netting, the trampolines. The other one
I
is the
don't think we
cockpit
need that.
side clears. Now this is something we were kind of talked about, and then really came to a decision when we chartered the 1260. That last day, the wind was 20 knots. We had a reef end. It was pouring down rain, and the when you're sitting on the helm, on a windward helm, you were in the weather. Despite the overhang on the cockpit, the rain was blowing right in all over you. Now, yes, you could go to the leeward helm and stay relatively dry. You still have the mist and everything coming in, but for the most part, you stay relatively dry. Or you can just simply put some clears up, and I think it would have kept you kind of quiet. So that experience, yes, we're getting the side clears for the helms. The drawer refrigerator is something else. That's the refrigerator that you pull out. The drawer refrigerator. Yes, and we were, it looks like it could fit underneath one of the saloon's settees, pulling out. I don't think we need it. I think if we were just doing day sailing and we had guests along, that might be nice where they could, store their sodas and stuff. But for us, cruising back and forth, I don't know if we want that. We have the refrigerator.
It takes up the space of the microwave, right?
Right, the microwave would eventually sit underneath there, so
we want the microwave installed so the front of it is flush with the wall inside the galley. So if you get that refrigerator that pulls out like a drawer, it's the same space, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You can't do both. So that means you'd have the microwave sitting on the counter.
So with the fridge, the freezer fridge combo, and the 2 cockpit coolers, I think that's all we would need for us.
I think so too.
So we're not going to get the drawer fridge unless we can find some innovative way to put it. I don't know. Drawers under the starboard aft cabin or the washing machine. And I think I'm leaning more towards the washing machine. I'm getting too old to stop laundry in a bucket. And it's, the washing machine's not all that big. I mean, what's your thoughts?
I like the idea of the washing machine. It's not terribly big. You're not going to be able to do big loads or anything. Doesn't dry anything. But it makes washing, incidental, small loads easier, and like you said, it doesn't use much electricity. Is that what you said?
It's doesn't use a lot of power, and it's more efficient with the water. But I'm willing to give up the washing machine if you're going to do my laundry for me. No. Okay. Now we're getting a washing machine. She doesn't do my laundry now.
No, he does his own. I do my own.
So I mean, the washing machine's not big. You're not gonna wash comforters in there for the most part.
No, I mean you're still gonna have to use a laundromat for bigger loads or bigger things, but it would allow you to do, like small loads of like your underwear and stuff.
Undies and stuff. So it will help out, and then you just hang them out to dry. So I'm okay with it. So yes, Teak washing machine. The Sirocco fans. Yes, we're going to get them. That's something that we learned when we chartered 1260. These fans are very quiet. You can adjust them each way to Sunday. They're flow a lot of air through the fans, and they don't consume a lot of power. So we're going to put them everywhere, and I think we're going to put 2 in the owner's bunk, right? 1 for me and 1 for you, right?
Yes.
Happy wife, happy life.
1 on each side.
Right.
It really does make it comfortable in there.
2 in the other forward double bunk, right? In case,
And they also, when we chartered the boat, they had one in the galley. And I was cooking one night, and I turned that on, and I opened the window, and I turned that on, and the air flowed through nice. That tiny little fan did wonders. So you can put them strategically where you think you'd want them. And I definitely would want one in the galley.
The one would go into aft starboard cabin. So that's 6. Might put 2 in the saloon. That's 8. And maybe we will put 1 in the owner's head area, right? And that's 9. So yes, the more fans, the better. Agreed?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. Teak decking. Who doesn't like teak? I think this Teak stuff makes the boat look so classy.
It does.
You know, we had teak. Remember, I used real teak in the cabin of our trimaran that we built. It is very beautiful, very classy. However, standing on some of this Flexi Teak, it was very hot on my feet, and I don't want to wear shoes just because Flexi Teak is absorbing all the heat. The other thing that has me concerned is, you know, on the 1260, the Flexi Teak will go in the cockpit and probably the stern sugar scoop steps. We plan on doing a lot of fishing when we're sailing. We've always fished. We've been quite successful at it. And cleaning the fish could be bloody, and you would have all the, you know, blood and fish cuts possibly in the cockpit. And I like the idea of just taking the hose and squirting it off. You know, I don't want to worry about it going on the Flexi Teak, staining the Flexi Teak or anything like that. So as much as I like it, I probably not.
We've gone back and forth on it.
Yeah.
And maybe we will in time or two more.
We reserve the right to change our mind.
Yeah. Well, it's
But-
very beautiful, but it's appealing, the idea that it would be easy to clean the boat in the cockpit floor.
And it
all
adds
of
weight. It adds weight to the aft end of the boat, which is the worst place you want to put weight.
It
on a
is very
1260.
But I don't want to create extra jobs to do or extra work.
No. Squirt it with a hose or brush it with a brush and a hose and be on our merry way. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see. The next thing is the forward lounge cushion or the Monica lounge cushions.
You have to tell them why you call it the Monica.
Well, they know why
Lounge.
they call it Monica Lounge. She called it Monica Lounge in
It's not the Monica.
the last episode on the 1260. Tony doesn't like it being called the Monica Lounge, but it kind of stuck. Those cushions up there, we talked about the bean bags and the cushions. For the price of the cushions, I think we're going to go with the cushions. If it doesn't work out, we'll
Oh, I think
Get
we'll
the
always want
beanbags.
those cushions. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah.
Because, I think they'll be comfortable. But
And-
I really did like the bean bags that were on the one boat. I think that was on the 1160, the bean bags.
Yes, it was on
But
1160.
they were really nice and they were comfortable and you could move them around and they were great. The problem with them is you got to figure out where you're going to store them, and they would take up space. And the cushions really fit in that area nice and make for a nice little lounge there. So I like the idea of the cushions, but I reserve the right to get.
I think the
beanbags.
next options under comfort is the insect screens.
Those are really important.
Those are must-have.
They are a must-have. I don't even consider it a comfort thing. It's more of a you got a necessity. And the reason why is because we were chartering and we opened the window in the bathroom, and the insects came in at night, and they got all over it and it created a mess, and we should have known they were going to come in by opening the window.
The bright light interior lights with the white, and the insects just flock in. They stick to the
Stick to
side of
everything.
the hull, and you end up waking up the next morning wiping it all down.
And at nighttime, you're sleeping. We didn't have problems with it at nighttime with the lights off, but you could, insects, mosquitoes, whatever. And so you'd just be more comfortable with the screen.
Yeah.
I think it's a must have.
Anywhere on the Chesapeake Bay, we had screens on the trimaran as well.
Yeah.
Put them up. You want the air coming in. You just want to keep the bugs out. So all screens, the forward hatches, the cannon port hatches, the hatches up top.
And-
Screen. Just get the screens.
I mean, otherwise you're going to keep your hatches closed, and then you're going to be using the air conditioning all the time. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to. So the screens are a good thing. Yeah, I think we're in agreement on that one.
Yeah, I think the hatches also has the privacy shade thing on there, and they come as a combo. So we will do all that as well.
Yeah.
Privacy screens or blinds on the windows. I don't know if we need privacy. I don't care if people want to look in at me. I'll give them a show.
Are those the ones you put on the outside you're talking about?
No, the inside, the blinds.
Oh, I want blinds.
But they could keep the sunlight out and keep the boat cool as well. So for that reason, I guess we'll get the blinds. You want blinds?
I want
You want
blinds.
privacy?
I want privacy.
You're afraid the seagulls might be peeping in?
Well, you could be at a marina at a time. And you turn on your light and everybody can see everything going on. Not that that matters that much, but.
And they are what you're referring to, the outside of the saloon, the black shades that you clip on to help keep the sunlight out. And that's important because of heat. You want to keep the saloon somewhat cool. So yeah, we'll probably get those. You have pretty good visibility, I think, even if you left them on, looking out, you still have the visibility. But
They're easy to put on and take off.
Yeah, and so if you were going to leave the boat in marina or something like that, you put those on. Just keep the cockpit, saloon, and the interior of the boat kind of cool. So we're getting that as well. Leather upholstery for this saloon area. This is something we've gone back and forth. Leather, the luxury of leather. I keep picturing Ricardo Montalban. Remember, the Corinthian leather, the luxury of the Corinthian leather. You remember that?
No.
It's a lap of luxury.
Everyone asks, Corinthian leather? Of course, why not the best?
Sorry.
I like the leather as durability. I think it's in the long run, I think it's easier to keep clean, wipe down, whether it's salt, spills, stains, rips. I think the leather is just going to be easier to maintain rather than a fabric.
Rather than a fabric, I think you're right about that. I was concerned about sitting on leather sometimes, like if it's a hot day and you're sweating or something. But I was reading about it, and it doesn't seem like it says it kind of adjusts to your temperature. So
yeah, I mean, we have leather seats in the cars, right? We would probably always get leather seats. I mean, I think it's like $4,200, but maybe in the long run, it's worth it. For those that have leather interior, let us know. Would you do it again? Is that the way to go? Would you go fabric if you have fabric?
Do you wish you had gotten the leather?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of on the fence. This is a $4,200 option, but in the long run for durability, I'm kind of leaning towards leather upholstery.
It might be easier to maintain than the fabric. Although I know the fabric is sunbrella, and that's very good as far as the sun and also cleaning it. But
the 4 cabin arrangement, nah. That's we're not chartering this boat.
No.
This is for us. Having less bedrooms gives you the best excuse for taking less guests out on the boat. So it's a win-win, right? So we're not doing the 4 cabin. Now the galley, microwave, and cupboard. This is the option where, since we're getting the air condition, we will have that vet, and then we will have that microwave. And we want that microwave recessed
flushed
into it.
with the thing.
When we charter
Because
Seawind,
it gives you more counter space there, which I
Yes.
think is important.
when we chartered the 1260, they had the microwave on the counter, and it took up a lot. It seemed like it was always in the way. We used the hell out of it, right? So yeah, we're getting a microwave. I think it's the best thing on the boat. You can do so much with it without burning your propane. So the microwave recessed cupboard option is what we're going to get. Agreed?
I agree with that.
Yeah, microwave all the way. Is the marine, the cockpit flooring, carpet, snap-on, whatever that stuff is. I've seen it on boats. Some of them look like false teaks. Some of them look like matte. They're supposed to help you comfort feet. It's like a cushion for your feet. For the same reason we're not getting a flexi teak, we probably aren't going to get that,
I don't think so, because the option that they showed, it kind of looked like dirt and all could get down in it.
Fish guts.
Yeah, it's just more to clean.
Yeah.
And as far as like cushion on the feet, the place you were concerned about would be at the helm if you were standing there.
We would probably get some gel mats.
I didn't have a problem standing on the charter one, but I wasn't standing constantly at the helm.
In the chop, it was hurting my knees after a while. But having just having the gel mats right there at both helm stations is all we would need.
Right,
And
and
I
then we
think
have
would
some of
be
those in our
fine.
kitchen,
Yeah.
and they work great. And I think they would stay right in place if we got the same kind. And
Yeah.
I don't think you'd trip over them or anything if they were
So we're skipping that option. The next option, I think, under the comfort section was hot water diesel heating system, right? We're getting air conditioned, and why not get the hot water system, right? The heat inside the boat. Here at the Chesapeake Bay, it could prolong our sailing
Definitely could.
season later. We could start earlier. I've sailed in some bad cold weather. It's not bad as long as you have a place to go to get warmed up, right? So if you're going from the outside down into the cabin where it's just as cold, it's just a miserable experience. So in the scheme of things, I think we're going to do the Wabasco diesel heating system and see how that goes. And this is just the first two sets of options. We'll come back with the other options. I think we're almost out of time. The navigation, electronics, that's probably going to be an episode in itself. There's just so much to talk about that. But we'll do another episode on the other options as well. Why we thinking about this options versus that, right? So anyway, leave us comments. I mean, we would love input for anybody. What they think of a certain options, what to stay away from. Yeah, we're all ears at this point. We have time to decide. We don't want to make a mistake.
That's right.
So yeah. I've been thinking of names for a boat. I got a new name.
Really?
Since this is a catamaran, I'm thinking litter box. Catamaran, two old turds on the boat.
No.
No.
No, and that's
She's
probably been
shooting.
used.
She's shooting every idea I have.
I am
down.
not.
Every idea I've had down so far.
That's not true. He's just coming up with ones that he knows that.
That's not true. These are great names. Somebody else is going to pick our names, steal our names of the boat.
And somebody's probably used that one.
Yeah. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, leave comments, ring the notification bells, whatever. Just click on stuff, right? It's always fun to click on stuff. As long as it's a thumbs up. Stay away from that thumbs down. Anyway, I'm Peter.
I'm Tony.
And one day, we will be sailing with no agenda.
And we can't wait. But we
Yes,
have to.
Can't come soon enough. Anyway, thank you for watching.